I work for SDIL and I teach high school science in Armour and Burke.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm up here at Lake Area Tech in the aviation department.
Who do I know up there? I know Brad Hesh.
Brad Hesh, yes. I got some of his students coming out from automotive today. They're going to take airplane rides.
He and I went to the same grade school.
Oh, you did? Okay. Oh, no. There's Brad Herding. He's in the automotive department. Brad Hesh, curriculum. Yeah.
Curriculum.
Yep.
We'll just give it a couple of minutes and see if they join us up here.
Okay.
Greg, is there a lot of, I just watched a demo on 3D printing. Of course, I always stay geeky enough where I'm always watching things. Is there a lot of aviation? Is Boeing or any big companies doing any part printing, 3D printing? I saw GE was doing some stuff, but I didn't know if.
Yeah. What was that? What is GE? GE was making some compressor blades, weren't they, or fan blades or something?
Yeah, they were getting into some metal printing, I think, weren't they?
Right. Yeah, I think they were making jet engine compressor blades or something like that. It's not real widespread. I mean, they've got, coating processes, but it's not really, printing.
Parts. Is it more like rapid prototyping for things?
Yeah. That sort of thing. Yeah.
So maybe the design element, they use a lot of it, but not in production.
Yeah. Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I might be a little behind on that too. I mean, that'd be an interesting question to ask some of the big manufacturers, and they probably, there's stuff happening all the time, but I don't know in that arena what happens as far as 3D printing goes.
And I think Mark Iverson might come on too, so we'll see if.
Oh yeah, I heard he was coming on. Yeah.
Pops on.
Hey, Greg, and the rest of you guys. How are you?
I'm doing good. How did your trip up to T.O. Spazina go?
You know what? It was really good. I sent you an email last week. I don't know if you've had time to get to it yet.
Yeah, you wanted some written things that we could send out so that you didn't have to.
Well, they're just asking for a little more information, and then also check your calendar, Greg, for the 16th of September.
Okay.
Dr. Bordeaux at T.O. Spazina is interested in having his administrative team talk with all of us, and if you guys were available at 4 o'clock that day, we would do a meeting similar to this kind of format where we all could come together. I think Terry maybe responded to that she had that day open, but
okay.
I don't know if you guys do or not.
Okay, I am going to put that in my calendar here. So the 16th of September at 4 o'clock, you said.
At 4 o'clock, yep. Okay. Let me double check that. Yep.
Okay.
So do you think you can make it that day, Greg?
I'm going to put it in the calendar. Let me check here, make sure I don't have anything on that time slot, but I think we can do it. Yes, I'm putting it in.
Awesome. I will get back to Dr. Bordeaux and let him know that's going to work. So
is it an online thing? Is that what you said?
Yep. So like I said, it'll be very similar to this. You'll get a Zoom invite, and now that you've downloaded all the stuff, you should be good to go. Won't be too much hassle for you guys to get on.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good. I'm plugging it in right here. Okay.
And then I'll send you some information about his administrative staff. I've got that in a different notebook, and so you guys know who you're going to be meeting. And then they just want to hear about opportunities that are available to them. So if we can share that, and I'm sure they'll have questions for us as well. So.
Okay.
All right, sounds great. Hi, Heather.
Hello. Thanks for inviting me.
Not a problem. If Jim is bored behind you, you might want to tell him we're going to talk about aviation today.
Ooh, I don't think he's bored.
You
But I'll
do.
let him know if I get that. So how are things in South Dakota?
Wonderful up in northeast South Dakota. Where are you at?
I am in Columbus, Ohio, so
Oh, okay. Yep.
center of Ohio. It is hot here. It's like 90 degrees, which is hot for us.
We had that last week.
Hey, Liz, how's Brookings today?
It's good. Getting lots done.
Good.
Did you say Mark Iverson was going to try and join us, Mary?
Yep, he and I Facebook communicated about a week ago probably, and he was going to try and come up. I'm not sure what time school dismisses in Watertown.
Okay. And we're recording it too, so.
Let me see if I got any last minute emails. Don't think so.
Okay. We can let Greg get started, though. He has another function at 4, so if he wants to go ahead and go. We're going to record this, Greg, and we're going to put it up to YouTube. If anybody misses out today or jumps in the middle, that's fine. So.
Okay, sounds good. And then Mary, back me up, please. I guess I can just tell the group that one of the things that we were fortunate enough to get involved in here at Lake Erie Tech was a grant through NASA to support, to promote STEM technologies. One of the things we do right here at the school is it promotes our flight training program and agriculture. So we tie it in with precision agriculture and we do more flight training because of it. And one of the goals, as far as promoting STEM technology is outreach, where we're going to go out, work with high schools in any way we can to promote STEM. And our emphasis, obviously, being from the aviation department, would be that we would emphasize aviation. Like, for instance, I know one of the teachers in Watertown here is teaching a navigation class. So she was wondering about aeronautical charts. She wants to teach, how do you get from point A to point B when you're planning a flight? And she's going to be using aeronautical charts and all that kind of thing. And we're going to support her in any way that we can there, as far as getting charts for her, showing her different sources, going to her classroom if she wants us to do any presentations, stuff like that. One of the things that, Mary, I don't know if you promoted this in Sisseton, up at Tia Spazina. What was the name of the school out by Timberlake? Tio, how did you pronounce it?
Teoshpatopa.
Okay, I'm not going to try to repeat that again, but thank you. Say it again one more time.
So it's Teoshpa and then Topa.
Teoshpa Topa. How did I do? There we go. Okay, good. All right. One of the things that we, and it was a suggestion, and we can go to their classroom and make presentations, or we could have something like an aviation day, where we would actually fly in, and we'd want to do a lot of groundwork ahead of time to plan this out, and maybe have a ground element and a flight element to this, and we would fly to an airport near their site and give an orientation flight. but we would want to tie that in with some physics and some math and do maybe a short ground school session on aeronautics. So, you know, maybe it could be we go there ahead of time and go into their classroom and teach, you know, an aeronautics lesson. Or maybe we do some online content where we have curriculum where, you know, might go over several weeks, several days of classroom time, teaching them about aerodynamics, and then taking the planes out there and letting them experience that. And we haven't had any follow-up with them yet. This was a new idea just as of about last week or so. So when they get in contact with us, we're going to talk about details, you know, of that. I don't know how many schools around the country, the high schools, where they'll have a build project where students might want to build, say, a model airplane, and we can offer support on that, on different types of structures, you know, and you know, like go to their classrooms and put on little demonstrations of various structures and what goes into building airplanes and things like that, and have them do a class project, you know, on that. And then the end result would be something that's actually going to fly. So those are just some of the ideas we have. And Mary has charged me with getting something on paper that we can present to programs, high school, you know, science programs, that would kind of map a little bit of this out and suggest things. And we're wide open to what the teacher wants as well. You know, what would we want to tailor for the teacher's situation? So that's the general idea. And I guess we're just kind of looking for what the demand would be from the teachers on how we can support, you know, them in promoting STEM from an aviation standpoint. So inputs and questions are hugely welcome.
And Greg, I think you got to try this out a little bit on the aviation day you guys hosted. Boy, when was that? Back in April?
Oh yes, yes. We had a sign-up sheet for any math or science teacher in the state of South Dakota, and you know, surrounding states, of course, too. But we were kind of emphasizing, you know, South Dakota, that we were going to have an aviation day. It was going to be actually a soaring day. And we were going to promote the different types of different methods of launching gliders, and give the science teachers a little hands-on lesson on aeronautics in the classroom, and then out in the shop on our airplanes, and just kind of show them some of the things that, you know, as far as the glider world goes. How gliders work and how you launch them and things like that, and apply it to math and physics, and then take them on an orientation flight so they could experience it for themselves. And I think we had 23 teachers, I think, high school. They were grades 7 through 12 math and science teachers that we took for orientation flights. And I mean, we could do more of those types of events as well. But mainly what we were after was to kind of give them a hands-on experience, you know, and take them up for the flight so they could feel, you know, how the airplane reacts. You know, when you talk about Bernoulli's principle and you know, Newton's laws and the theory of lift and all that kind of stuff. Show them, which they probably already teach their students, those sorts of things, but they get to actually feel it, you know, and experience it for themselves. So that is one event that we did have this last spring that we could, you know, do more of. Yep.
Do you think there should be like you guys had the catapult days? That was a pretty big school-wide event.
That was just for the school here, yeah. Yep.
But instead of just the upper grade levels, do you think that could be an entire, like the lower grade levels do paper airplanes all the way up to balsa woods, and you might have something else, but everybody goes to the gym or outside and encompass every grade K through 12?
Well, we're concentrating, I guess. Our idea was just to work mainly with the, say, 7 through 12, you know, I think we would be better supporting that than, well, we could support the younger grades as well, but I think with the NASA grant, it reads that it's grades 7 through 12.
Okay.
We're on the other end for us as far as PD, we can work with K-12 teachers to draw on Greg's expertise to bring some of that in, to build capacity as kids are coming up through the ranks. That would be a nice industry partnership for those elementary teachers. So just something for us on the SDIL end to keep in mind as we help teachers develop different opportunities for their kids. So we have that capacity to reach down into the lower grades, probably more than Greg does, because he's really building those skills in kids and that interest in kids to translate into their aviation program to some extent, but also to build that STEM awareness as well. Would you say?
Yep, that would be a good way to say it, yes.
Well, and I got to attend soaring days and go up in a glider, and I got to log some flight time that day. So that's a pretty neat experience, even for me as an educator, to see all that's happening. And, you know, we started off with the safety checks and, you know, the weather and all that was happening that day that when we got there, and then actually getting up into the air. And then when the motor turns off and you're soaring and you're up in the air while the motor's off, that was a pretty wild experience, and not one that a teacher gets to experience every day, and then to think about kids being involved in that. And then Greg, also another passion that you have, and maybe kind of a hobby, I don't know if you describe it as a hobby, but your soaring events that you come to in the Bijou Hills or those different places you find. That's a really cool concept as well, to think about that, that experience with kids. So if you want to maybe talk about that a little bit too.
Well, I mean, that would go back to the, you know, if there's kind of a design build project that could be incorporated in the classrooms where the kids can build planes, it's probably kind of tough to find slopes, you know, to take the kids to and fly up slopes. But I mean, you can have open areas where you have, I think the easiest way to do it would be with electric powered airplanes, model airplanes, you know, simple, light, little electric powered model airplanes that they could fly. And I guess the complicated thing about that is, how's every kid going to be able to build an airplane and fly it? I mean, it's going to have to be one-on-one. They're going to smash it in the ground right off the bat, you know, and that'll be the end of it. So, because there's a skill set in flying the airplane, I mean, they can do a good job of building it and they go out and fly it and smash it. But I guess I don't know how to use that as the teachers, hopefully, if there was some way to incorporate this in a lesson that could be exciting for the kids, you know, or a project of some sort, we'd sure like to support that sort of thing. Well, one thing we could do is, you know, you talk about composite construction, where I think in some of the physics classes they might build bridges out of toothpicks, you know, so you can show different types of structures, and then you load it up to make it fail. And what's the ultimate yield strength of this structure? You know, you could incorporate that into building a wing. Well, how strong is the structure going to have to be? You know, and how do you test it to see if it's going to actually hold up under the forces? And then if it was a class build project where, you know, you take, you know, this aircraft that was built and you got somebody that knows how to fly it, they can go out and actually test it, and they could load it up and see how much it can carry, or what it would take to make the wing fail if you pull a high G turn or something like that. You know, talk about dynamics and all that kind of stuff.
Cool. Is your Watertown teacher, are you thinking about Carolyn when you refer to her, Greg?
Yes, correct. Yep.
So she lives in Watertown but teaches at Dual. So,
I didn't know she was over at Dual. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I
yeah,
was
so,
just following up with her today. She wanted some charts, and I gave her a place where she could get tons of charts for her class. So,
cool. Where do you go to get those?
if it suits her needs, we can just go to the state of South Dakota because they have an aeronautics commission and they print aeronautical charts. And they have education outreach, there, and I'm sure they would support her with giving her all the charts she wanted.
Cool. Where's that based out of?
Pierre.
Okay.
Yep. It's part of the Department of Transportation. So it's the Aeronautics Commission in the South Dakota DOT. Now, one thing we should probably mention here too is I went to one of their meetings, and they're ready to support education out there. One of their charters is education outreach. And if, the South Dakota Innovation Lab or us, or any teachers, they're kind of standing by to find out, from any of us, what they can do to support aerospace education in the state of South Dakota. And they probably even got, part of their budget that, that they can use for that.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I guess the biggest thing for me is, you folks out there are the high school teachers and you teach, the math and the science and physics and all that kind of stuff. If there's anything we can do to promote aviation, to support you with that, we're standing by to hear some ideas on what we can do to support you with that.
I just put up a link to the South Dakota DOT aeronautical charts that you were just talking about.
Yes.
I went out and did a search and I found the website, and that's linked in the chat here.
Okay, awesome, great.
That's good, Greg. I think you covered just about everything that we wanted to discuss, right, Mary? Yeah. And I know you got an event at 4, so if you needed to head out, you're more than welcome.
Okay. And like I said, let us know if there's anything we can do to support. I mean, we can come to classrooms, we can do classroom visits, we can, if there's a piece of the curriculum that's geared around aviation and you need sort of, an aviation industry expert, so to speak, to come in and get involved in any of that curriculum in any way, just let us know. And like I said, we would love to go do aviation events. I mean, if we want to come to an airport near you with some airplanes and, put on demonstrations or orientation flights or whatever it would be with the teachers or the students, just let us know. And there you have it.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to sign off here then.
Okay. Thanks, Greg.
Let us know what we can do for you folks. Thanks
Hey,
a lot.
Greg, I'll get you more details about the 16th. You'll get an invite that has all these numbers and things like that. And
Okay.
we'll talk with those folks up at Tioshpazina.
Okay, sounds good. And I got it on my calendar, so I'll be.
Awesome.
We're all ready for it. All right, thanks.
Thanks,
See ya.
Greg.
Yep, bye.
Well, he definitely has some input, doesn't he?
A great resource. I mean, wouldn't it be fun to get kids involved with partnering with them? And I'm gonna just speak from personal perspective. I have no clue about aviation and all that's involved with that because it's just not something I've experienced. But what a great way to step back and say to the kids, okay, we're going to bring this person in. This is a career, a STEM career. There's lots and lots of opportunities around aviation in the state of South Dakota, and there's good jobs, good careers you can pursue there. And let's talk to him. Let's all learn together. So
It appears that I need to put together an aviation unit for my physics and physical science kids next spring when we can actually be outside.
I was going to say question number one should be how long a runway do you need in your little town so that he can actually fly in? Some of these aren't long enough for certain types of planes. I'm sure he's got little Cessnas I saw on his website, but even Burke, I'm sure, can handle Armor 2, flat, anywhere. But
Gregory Winter, somewhere.
no, that's a neat concept, though. Very, very cool idea.
that was the first question he posed to me when we talked to Teoshpatopa Slim, was where was the nearest airfield? And he went in and did the research, but it would be cool for the kids to find out because the nearest one to Teoshpatopa is in a guy's pasture. And so he has to get landowner privileges to be able to land at that spot, but that would be the best spot for the kids to come, or closest, I should say. So
Yeah, that's a must.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to stop the recording now. So.